Welcome to the WedCo Podcast, where wedding wisdom meets street smarts.
We're dishing out all the tips, tricks, and wedding goss to take your wedding to the next level.
Time to ditch the formalities and get this party started.
All right, everyone. Each panellist, we're all going to have like 20-minute little sessions. So first up, I would now like to introduce you to Carissa from eMuna Events.
Hi. I love that there's music.
And then we have Ed from Blue Veil Films. Absolutely cheer. And Steph and Gareth from Windmere Estate. And then we also have Toga. Woohoo! Okay. So the first question tonight is, how has the rise of social media impacted wedding planning and vendor marketing?
Who wants to go first? You want to steal it? You want to do it? You can go first.
To all of you. Who would like to go first with that question?
I can go first.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I think that kind of breaks it into two parts. The wedding planning, I guess I can talk on that first. But I think with the rise of social media, we're getting kind of influenced on like a global scale. And we're probably all noticing in this that trends from overseas are coming to Australia. Even just in my field and our field with, I guess, sort of media, the photo or video. 3 years ago, no one was doing front flash stuff. And I don't think I've been to a wedding in the last 12 months where we haven't done nighttime stuff. So that's something that I can probably speak on in my field for that sort of thing. And the second part, the networking, I think, has been a huge thing for my business. And I think it's something that has probably helped me grow in a way because I can collab with wedding vendors, couples, which is huge because I can share a sneak peek and within 3 days, everyone at the wedding knows that I shot the wedding. The venue absolutely loves it because they're like, we just got so much really good content. We can see like a real couple at a real wedding and it kind of helps both of us. And I love it because their audience might be like, hey, I'm looking for a video, I haven't locked that in. Or there might be some people on my side saying, oh, I want video, but I don't have a venue yet. So, yeah, I think that's been a huge part for us. And, yeah, do you guys want to expand on any of that?
I was going to say, would you like to?
I was going to pass it over.
Yeah.
You guys go.
Yeah.
Look, for our point of view, it can be quite hard for vendors, I think, with oversaturation in the market, hard to make, your business stand out amongst many, many talented people that we all know exist, particularly around our area. We're blessed to be in, a beautiful spot in between Mulaney, down to Byron. So that can be difficult. But from a wedding venue, we're just overly appreciative of how many incredible, talented people there are. And it allows us to showcase those different ideas and styles. It gives our clients ideas in turn that they can think, I'd like to do that, I'd like to add that. So I think that's really successful from a venue point of view, is that we get to really market different ideas.
I think from my point of view, obviously, with our event space, like social media allows us as vendors to obviously share more creatively, but also behind the scenes, people love seeing what's going on. Everyone's nosy. It's just inevitable. So I think social media's allowed us to actually share so much and then connect with other people on a different level. People want to know what's happening. They want to see a face behind it. Like, go on, talk, post it, share it. People love it. Yeah, trends, by all means. Like, we were always probably maybe 2 years behind, like the States, especially when it comes to styling stuff. And since social media, like, everyone knows we're all in the bow scene at the moment. And like, that happened over there and it was here within 6 months, guns blazing. So we're definitely getting so much more traction on styles, communications. It's all like, it's changed our entire industry. Anything, Steve?
I don't know, I think
social media, it feels so, there's so many good vendors everywhere. Like, and it's so hard at the moment that there's so many amazing photographers, so many amazing venues, so many like amazing florists, everything. There's so many good people. And I think that's coming back to what Riz said, is like, people are looking for something else apart from what's pretty. And so telling that story of who you actually are, we all hate it. I hate freaking putting my phone up here and like, hey guys, how are you? But it's like, everyone wants to see that. And it's like, it's kind of those things that are the hardest and what you didn't sign up for. Like, I didn't become a photographer so I can start talking to a phone and like, hey guys, like this. But it's kind of what is needed these days, I think, to kind of stand out in the crowd. And also, like, it's, for me, I just feel like it is so pay to play. Like, it has shifted so much in the last couple of years, where if you were really good in your field, you would still get noticed and you'd still get lots of leads and everything like that organically. And I definitely feel like over the last year that has shifted so much without paid ads, without doing that extra, unless you are, you know, if you're the top 1%, cool, you're good. But apart from that, it feels like unless you're doing those extra things and paying for those eyeballs, it's really hard to be seen anymore. So it's definitely shifting.
Yeah, absolutely. So any of you out there, is there anything that any of you feel like you can elaborate more on or would like to share with us? Yes?
Do I really need a microphone?
Do you want a microphone?
From a wedding planning perspective, I would say, look, I don't want to be negative Nancy here. There's been some beautiful things said about social media. But I think with unrealistic expectations around, you know, your Pinterest-style weddings and things and working with people's budgets becomes a little bit tricky. But on the positive side of that, you know, TikTok's showing lots of cool trends that make things a little bit more personal. So it's been really helpful to go, you know, I often get sent from my couples, oh my God, can we please, you know, smash a bottle of champagne in the middle of the dance floor and make a scene, and because it was on TikTok. But then, yeah, in terms of Pinterest and things, it's hard. So, yeah, both sides.
No, beautiful. Thank you. Excellent. Does anyone else want to contribute? I'm going to go Lauren first, because she's right here, and then I'll chuck you the mic, yeah?
I like just kind of touching on what Steve said. So he's not the person that stands there with his face in front of the camera, but essentially, like, my brand is me doing that. So, I mean, I'm the brand, I am a celebrant and MC, so I need to show my face. I need to show my personality and kind of what I can offer, how I talk, how I put it out there. But I guess, like, it's different from every different style of vendor on how they put it out there. So I guess it depends on what you're selling. So me is me, him is his beautiful images. And I mean, you should show off that shirt though.
But even Lauren, watching that, it was an Instagram post today where it was you standing there and watching someone saying their vows, and it was just the video of you. Like, I watched that whole thing. I think I watched it twice, and it's just something that you wouldn't think to kind of put out there. But imagine, like, couples watching you doing that. They're going to kind of, you know, lean towards you more because of that.
I'm an emotional fan.
Yeah, exactly. They're going to lean into you because they know what they're going to get, how they're going to feel when they're with you. Yeah, exactly. Excellent. I'm just going to sneak around the back. The mic is all yours.
Thanks. So I hate like popularity contest type conversations, but social proofing is a really big thing. And so if people get a sense of confidence from like seeing that, like, you know, when you're putting up content, you say, here's a wedding that I did, blah, 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 or whatever, and like, here's some reviews and my highlights. People get like a sense of confidence when they can see, like, on, say, Instagram, they're like, oh, all these people have taken the risk, so to speak, before me. And they know that, like, you're worth your money because they can see, like, everyone else has said really good things about it. So I think social proofing is, like, helpful with social media, in my opinion.
Cheers, thank you. Okay, so this now opens me up to the next question, which I am going to put to our panel. What are some of your best practices for managing client expectations? So who wants to go first on this one?
Evening, everyone. So, look, I think the client expectation thing, it's at the forefront of all of our minds. For us at Winmare, we are a very hands-on couple, and for a venue, we like to be involved and assist the client throughout the whole journey. As you've probably experienced with the food tonight, we've got a fantastic team with Ridgeway and their catering, as well as the White Stag event management. These guys really look after our clients. And I think from the outset, we have these conversations with our clients and we run through as much as we can with them early on so they know exactly what's involved in the day and we can prepare them the best we possibly can. And I think as a venue, that's what we can do from the outset, and vendors generally would follow suit with that and set the precedent of what we expect. And you know, we are so lucky to have so many vendors around us that do such a great job, as many of you have worked here this evening as well. We're very lucky for that. But yeah, I think it's super important to set that from the outset, discuss with the client and be completely open with them. So
I want to add to that too, because you made a good point in regards to sort of the lead up, because I kind of have this philosophy where I think it's your brand voice to a particular point till that client makes that first point of contact with you, and then from then on in, I think it's the kind of that client journey that they go through. And I think if your brand voice matches the second half of the process, I think it just gives those couples confidence that, like, oh, okay, everything that I've seen makes sense, and then now everything that I'm getting from the client journey is making so much sense. And for me, like, my branding is so much like, I want to know you guys as couples, I want to know you as people, I don't want to treat you as clients. So then when they send me an email and they get a text message or a phone call within like 15 minutes and I'm like, hey, I'm super excited to learn more about you guys, like, I want to see what makes you guys unique, I don't think that's a surprise to them, because my brand voice has been that, like, up until that point. And I think leading through the second half, like that journey, I find me personally, I try and give the couples an expectations of what's next. Like, I try not to have my couples second guessing what's the next step. From my website, when I say, hey, if you inquire, this is what's going to happen next. And then you get on the phone call and you're like, hey, this is how this whole process is going to happen. And then you can start to, get on the phone, talk about realistic expectations. If they do want something super elaborate, use your expertise and say, hey, like, if you want this is what's going to have to happen. Yeah, so then it's not a surprise when you're just like, hey, like, what you wanted, this is either what it's going to cost or this is what we're going to have to put in. So yeah, I think it kind of like levels out the conversation. Everyone's like, okay, cool, thank you so much for informing me. And I think we forget that a lot of these people are like planning a wedding for the first time. Correct, yeah. So you're like, we've been to more than one, so we can help you. So yeah, that would be my 2 cents on that topic.
I would say off the back of that, that's exactly it. Like, we live and breathe our weddings. We live and breathe everything that we do on a daily basis. Like, these clients have come to us 18 months, 12 months, 6 months or less. If it's an elopement, maybe even sooner. But they have a life to live. They go and do a job and it's like, oh, I've got a Saturday night and that's when I do my wedding planning. Setting expectations wholeheartedly, like knowing the process, letting them, it's communication. Like, all they want is to know this is happening now, this is going to happen then, timelines, communication. Get them to trust us by showing them as upfront. Like, a big thing for me personally with my clients, like from a design point, like if we're designing something completely unique, I'm not going to find an image on Pinterest. I'm not going to be able to find the correct color and the perfect arrangement. That's not my work. But as an example, it's not possible to find. So trying to show them the emotion, show them what's happening prior to, so they can go, oh my God, I can see it. Because they don't have the imagination that we have. Like, we're all very creative people in this room and we can see things before it's happening. It's just like we're exceeding it by just going that one step a little bit further, just to communicate it's there, kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Steve, did you?
Oh, sorry.
No.
I was going to say that's exactly right, Reece. I totally agree with you on that. You know, we all want to please the client and make sure that they're really happy with what we're doing on the day. But they're looking to us as well, and everyone in this room for what we can do them. Like, they've chosen each of us here in the room for that reason. So yeah.
I think lean into, like, you guys are all experts compared to the tradie who plays footy and is a plumber and someone's a school teacher. Like, everyone in this room is an expert in weddings, and we all think that we know nothing. like the amount of times you get on a Zoom call and like things you're saying that you just think are such a no-brainer kind of thing, and it blows their mind. I think it's actually like sitting back and realizing like, oh, I actually do know what I'm talking about, and just like, I don't know, just giving, like, you might not even think that you're giving anything to your couples, but I think just the expertise that you have over the years of being within this wedding industry, you have so much to give without even knowing it. So I think, like, off the back of what everyone else has said, it's all of that.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah. Absolutely. All right, now I'm going to throw this question out to all of you. Could you each share a piece of invaluable advice that you wish you had known at the beginning of your business journey?
I'll just start from up here because I got it. Yeah. I'll go communication's everything, especially starting out. The amount of times that I would shoot too many weddings and have too much backlogged photos and everything like that, and I'd stick my head in the ground and be like, no, it's all good. And all the client wanted was an email or a phone call to be like, look, I'm running 2 weeks late, and it would have been completely fine. And I just couldn't deal with that and kind of put your head in the sand. I think communication is key, and it's like sometimes it's the hardest things, but like even getting up on a Monday and just like seeing all your emails, and like it's the top of your list has to be getting back to your clients with their emails, because there are so many things to do in all of our businesses where you can put that to the bottom of your list, but realistically getting back to them should be the most important thing. And then, as unsexy as it is, systems. I think like systems have to be. Yeah, it's sexy. Okay. I'll let you guys talk about systems then. The sexy systems.
Yeah, I totally agree. I guess I might take a different approach. I think I might take a business approach here. In regards to, I think you need to learn sales. And if you're a creative and you say, hey, I'm not in sales, then you need to do everything you do for free, because we are a business. Definition of a business makes money. To make money, we need to make sales. And it was honestly the thing that took me from just a hobby to being a professional. And there's so many ways to craft these sales calls, if I have to get even more particular, that you don't need to come across as salesy, like those greasy salesmen that everyone's scared of. Everyone's obviously all nervous to get on phone calls too. I have conversations with people in my field. They're like, oh yeah, I just send them one email and then I just hope to hear from them. And I'm like, what? So yeah, I think, like people reach out to you, like they obviously want to hear from you. So like the enthusiasm to get on that phone call, and then just take control of that conversation, let them know how this conversation is going to go, set those expectations that we said before, and they're going to feel like, oh, I feel so comfortable with this vendor and they're going to look after me. Like they just get this sense of just like, he's just controlling this whole environment and he's probably going to do that on the wedding day. So yeah, that would be my piece of advice.
I think I touched this question to a degree in the podcast a few weeks ago. I think for me, when I started, I wanted everything. I would take anything and everything under the sun. I wanted to build a pay and I wanted to grow it as quickly as possible. I know, and I didn't. I said yes to a lot of things I probably shouldn't have back then. For me, it's being authentic. Like my biggest thing to myself is going back 8 years, 10 years ago and going, be me. And like, I'm only me now. After 8 years, 3 different rebrands, 3 different processes from start to finish. Like we can take on work every weekend, but are we actually doing what we actually want to do? It's okay to say no to things. No's a fun word that I don't like saying a lot of. Now I do, and there's nothing wrong with it. Absolutely nothing wrong with in this industry to say no. If a style's not right, say no to it. Money will come. The business will come. We are in a huge industry that regardless of what's going on, people still get married in one way or another, and we can be a part of it. It's just pivoting our businesses, continuing to grow from that perspective. Other thing is definitely systems, like from a planning side, coordination side, floral side, like we live and breathe systems. And when I started, I was using paper and printing papers, and there ain't nothing wrong with an Excel spreadsheet, by the way. I will stand true to an Excel spreadsheet. I use an Excel for everything. every single wedding I do up until this day, they just are a hell of a lot more complicated than they used to be. But there is systems for clients. If they can see that you present a great front, the systems is what's going to get us that. It's an interface that they can see, they can log on, like they love it. Like the one you guys used to with Aisle Planner for the White Stag, like we use the same one and it's so good. And it's such a nice add-on. So systems and be authentic. That's my two things.
Oh my goodness, hard to follow that. Riss is 100% correct. For us, I think G and I are so heavily involved in Windmare. We struggled really initially to actually step back. We were involved in every aspect, which many of you know from the early days. We were doing everything ourselves, and I think if I could go back to my much younger self, like we learnt accelerated aging, so we've got the recipe for that. Definitely achieve that, but also I would just actually say invest in the people around you. You know, we've got a wonderful team now who we know have the same passion for our couples as we do, and that it doesn't always have to be the two of us, that we have the boys, you know, taking care of the communications and the coordination. We're still heavily involved in actually meeting the couples. We walk through the whole journey with them. You know, they know that I'm behind the Instagram, so they often reach out and ask questions, and they'll pop back in, and, you know, we have couples a year after come and do their anniversary. So we're deeply connected to them, which is lovely because, you know,
we enjoy it.
It is. It's a passion project. I always say it's a you know, one of those terms that people overuse, but it's a passion project of ours. So we're very blessed to have wonderful people surrounding us that we know will only amplify our business and
lean on these people,
bring it all together. So definitely invest in people as well as systems.
Sexy system and people.
Sexy system and people, And that's really it. Do you have anything?
No, I totally agree with what you're saying. Yep,
perfect.
Excellent. Fantastic. So I'm just going to open it up to all of you, and I'm only going to get probably one or two of you to maybe answer that, because then we're going to move on to our next panel. But is anyone out here like to elaborate on any of that? Teddy?
Hi everyone, mine's probably on systems, sexy systems. I come from a sales background professionally, and I think there's the people element to what we do, but I think in terms of systems, I think it's about embracing AI. It is around us. There are so many amazing tools that streamline processes. Why are we spending an hour writing a run sheet, for example, where you can put in the basic information and it in 30 seconds will spit out the entire thing for you. Now, you still need to read it and filter it. It doesn't do the job for you, but I think that hour that you were previously writing a run sheet is that's now an hour that you could spend back to Toga's point on emails. That's getting back to your emails. That's an hour given back to you. So I think we can lose sight, being creative people, of some of the tools that are building around us. I'd just say keep your eyes on that. I had an experience recently when I emailed a service provider in the industry, and it was just an email to say, hey, really like what you do. I'm new to the industry, like what you do. The response, there was an out of office that came back, like an automated response, but that had an AI bot in there, and it had taken key phrases from what I'd said to this service provider and fed them back to me to feel like it was a personalised response. How amazing that you've emailed this person and it wasn't a generic response, it was tailored to what I'd written in my email. So I just put it out there to the room. Sort of the sexy systems piece, there are tools out there that can really help streamline your processes, but use that time from a sales perspective to really drive your business, to find your niche, to say no to things, to find the things that you want to say yes to. Reinvest that time in your business, but just don't take your eye off the mark that the world outside of weddings is moving into AI. So it's a frontier that those who are on the forefront of that now within the wedding industry, you will really reap the rewards.
Fantastic. Thanks, Teddy. Would you like to say?
Hi. Something that nobody's touched on but was quite instrumental to me is know your worth. So obviously at the beginning I was charging really cheap prices, which obviously sets the industry standard down, which is doing nobody any favours. But then you're working all the time for no money. So it's only in the last sort of, even now I'm probably not perfect with pricing, but it's just know what you're worth, know what you need to earn and set those prices and stand by them and be confident.
If I can, I'm just going to add on to Poppy's comment about the whole... No, that's okay. Just about the pricing side. I think what you've just said is exactly that. Like, when we start, we price, we ask questions, and sometimes we're nice and we all share information. Unfortunately, that's not the case with a lot of part of our industries. A lot of it's very hidden because some people get very taken by someone new in the market. I think knowing your worth is massive, and price checking yourself. Do market research. Ask people, reach out to people, and absolutely, like, as bad as it sounds, like, I know when I first started, I 100% had pretended to be getting married. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I can guarantee you that 90% of you have all done it. No one's going to say they've done it, though. But we have all done it, and we do it with cars. We do it when we buy a washing machine. Why can't we do it with our own pricing? So that's massive, absolutely massive.
Fantastic, thank you. All right, I reckon we give our round of applause for our panellists, Carissa, Ed, Steve, Gareth and Toga. Thank you guys, thanks for coming up and sharing a little bit of inspiration with us all. Woohoo! Absolutely. Okay, can I now invite our session 2 panellists?
Sorry,
so Lauren, come on down.
I'm going to turn it off first, but I've just pushed it down.
Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you.
Talia from Wild Folk, would you like to come and share a space?
Really good. That was really good. Yeah.
Chandler from Socially Wed.
Report back. Hey, how
And then the beautiful Amy.
crush it.
There you are, come on down.
Do you want to hold the mic?
No, I don't, really.
What's holding the mic to start, Lauren?
Lauren will be amazing on mic. How are you? Good?
It's free to hold the mic, right?
You're the girl.
Hey,
Thank you. For the team. For the team.
Okay, actually I'm going to share a seat, because why not? Alrighty, so let's open.
Am I the only one here with a glass?
Yeah.
Like, what's happening?
Topping up.
Okay, so let's open this discussion with what strategies or techniques have you found most effective for attracting and retaining clients?
I'll start because I've got the mic. For me, because I'm a real personalised business, it's literally being myself. I think like one of my selling points is high energy, fun, being authentic, and just essentially relating with my couple like they're one of my friends, one of my girlfriends. So when I put myself out there, which ultimately is over Instagram, I am just who I am. I'm what I like. I'm what I'm like during my ceremonies, and I just kind of say it how it is. I'm also not afraid to say when things aren't going to work for my couples as well, because they're here to take my guidance. So I kind of need to lean into that a little bit. So it's really just about being authentic.
Yeah, no, thanks. Do any of you would like to have a bounce off that?
Yeah, I think attracting my ideal client has really come through firstly knowing who your ideal client is, and sometimes when you're starting off, maybe your ideal client isn't always going to be yourself and what you value. It might be what you want in the future. So when I first started out, I had a very particular style. I always have, even when I began, and I knew exactly the kind of weddings I wanted to do, and potentially that ideal client wasn't exactly myself. I wanted to look at, who my ideal client was. I was thinking about what kind of brands they were purchasing, what kind of music they listened to, exactly who they were, and that really helped me when I was showing up on social media. I showed up in a way that, would attract and, they can relate to. So I think that really helped in terms of attracting my ideal client. And in terms of retaining my ideal client, that's really important in my business. So I'm a photographer, but I do weddings, newborns, and families. So I classify myself as a bit of a legacy photographer. So I really like to see people through their entire journey. So client retention is incredibly important to me. And I think the most important thing, and it's something that I actually think I do really well, is client retention. I would say like 80 to 90% of my business has come through either referral or retaining clients. So I think it really helps when you are a people person. I don't think that I'm the best photographer in the world, but I do think that I really try to be really open and make my clients feel really comfortable. And I think that's probably what's helped me retain so many clients and get so many referrals. So yeah, I think that's...
Kind of like leading into what you just said there on like what your ideal client is. That is so important to know, because from that you're going to know where to market yourself, where to invest yourself, and ultimately how you're going to sell.
Yeah.
So it kind of like all funnels into one, into what your ideal client is, how you're going to market it, how you're going to find them, and how you're going to sell it, wrap it up, and essentially get that booking as well. It's the whole process.
And what they value and what they appreciate, because it's so different.
Yeah.
Hi. I'm a little nervous. But yeah, I guess building on that, for me as a content creator, wedding day content creator, I'm very much privileged in the sense of a lot of my marketing is quite organic. So a lot of the social videos and everything I post, that's my product. So when people are drawn to my Instagram through those social videos, they see that and then they imagine it on their page themselves. Through that, I have absolutely learnt though that the client relationship is just as much value to them as the product I actually provide. So for me, the most important thing is when I am having that engagement leading up to their actual wedding day, I'm not asking them, okay, what do you want captured? What content do you want? I'm wanting to know their love story. I'm wanting to know the most important people that are going to be there on their day. I'm wanting to know what moments are you looking forward to the most, and from that I'm actually able to grab all those little moments that I can imagine in their position they would want in their camera roll. And I feel like that works.
It's slightly different for us. So we partner with venues direct and then manage all of the elopements on their behalf. So we're not just branding ourselves and putting ourselves into the market. We're actually branding 16 venues through our business. So when we attract a couple or a client, they're kind of funneling in through all our venues and they want that vibe or that style. So they already know what they want before they get to me, which is kind of different. It's a bit more niche rather than, specifically heading to like your photography style, your personality or your content. They're actually finding their venue and then they're finding us. So it kind of filters for us differently. And then to retain, I guess not everyone's going to get married multiple times, but we do a lot of second marriages, so then that word of mouth goes further. So creating like a really great relationship will help spread that word of what we do. That's kind of how we build off our business. Yeah,
wonderful. Okay, what are some of the biggest challenges facing the wedding industry today, and how can professionals navigate them?
Megan. Okay, so I think from a new service in the industry perspective, there has been, obviously the wedding industry is always going to continuously grow. Technology, everything like that there's continuously going to be new trends, new services coming in. So for me, as a new service, learning how to navigate that space and work with other vendors and allow that time for them to process, okay, what is that new service that's coming in? How is that going to impact my proceedings on the day? As a photographer and videographer, what is a content creator going to be like to work with? So I think it's super important from a content creator's perspective to make sure that the people you are there working with on the day understand that you respect their creative space, understand that you are going to contribute in a positive factor to the whole day. But yeah, sorry, I don't know where it's going.
Challenges in the industry today, I think we can all kind of feel it, because I'm hearing the feedback from you as well, is it's a bit harder out there at the moment, right? We're kind of getting inquiries, they're trickling through, they're a little bit slower, but essentially when you are hitting that price point where you know your worth, like Poppy said, and you know what to charge and what you're going to get, I am finding that they're going for a cheaper option. So a lot of the feedback that I'm getting is they're kind of leaning towards that, and that's fine, that's okay. And I know
you know, deep down you're like, no, I'm worth this. I deliver a top tier service and I know that I nail it every single time, and I just need to lean into that, and I need to trust myself, and I need to know that that's where I'm going to sit, because if I just sit in this space, let it kind of ride out, because like interest rates killing us, next year I will book those dates anyway. So I just need to trust the system, trust myself, and know your value. I think just really like know yourself. I think it's the biggest thing, and I think we all kind of sit in those spaces sometimes when we're business owners, and it's hard, especially when a lot of us work alone as well, right? You just need to know it, and like we're all here for each other, okay? Like lean into each other, know when you need a little bit of support, when you just need a coffee chat, and lift each other up. Like it's what we're here for. Essentially, we're a family, okay? Like we all work together every weekend. Okay, this is us. So if you need support, you kind of know that you're going to find it in one another.
Perfect. I think obviously same sort of thing, like pricing has been a big thing. Couples are definitely a lot more conscious of pricing and locking in vendors and things like that. So I think just going back to the basics as well, like going back to your marketing, like I know I in my business try to have like 15 different kinds of passive and active marketing strategies going on at one time. Like going back to those things, like we often get so busy, and I think in the last few years we've all been so busy that maybe we haven't had to focus on our marketing as much. Like we've been able to put it on the back burner because the inquiries have just been like flowing in, and you know we've been catching up from COVID and all of those things. But just going back to those basic, you know, active and passive marketing strategies, having multiple kinds of marketing going on all at once is really good. I think another thing that's changing in the industry is that it is very trend focused. Like it always has been, but I feel like the Pinterest and the celebrity weddings, the Vogue weddings are all like at the forefront of all of these couples' minds. And I think if we can even just encourage them to be like, yes, take some inspiration, like that's all fun. As a photographer, I love capturing trends, but I think also like encouraging them to inject a little bit more of their personality and their own like inspiration into it. Like even when people ask me about, I don't know what colours I'm going to do for this, like they'll just be chatting weddings, and I'll be like, well, look around your home. Like what kind of colours do you love in your home? Like I know my home is like sage and olive green, everything. Like when we rock up to a wedding, Jessie and I, we're wearing sage and olive green. Like my second shooter wears sage with me, you know, like we're matching sage team. So like getting them to just inject their own personalities and their own family kind of traditions back into those weddings and making them a little bit more personalized as well, I think is really cool. So
Can I add something? Sorry. I just had thoughts come into my mind as we were talking, but something I've heard a lot in the content space lately is how are you managing your business with so many content creators popping up? And this space in particular, the first thing I remind another content creator when they speak to me about this is look at how many photographers are out there. Look at how many videographers are out there. There is someone for every couple. And if you're staying true to your brand, your values, and everything you are set to deliver a couple, they're going to choose you based on that. Everyone's going to be different budgets, there's going to be different prices, but what you put out there, and if you're showing up consistently with that, that is you, that is your brand, and they are going to relate to that, and they're going to book you based on that.
Challenges. Big weddings. It's not as common. I don't see them. I don't know. I don't go to them. I love them, but I've done them. And the elopement space is so different. But I feel like a challenge would be that people aren't going big. Like that's not my challenge directly, but I feel like that would be a challenge for so many people in the industry, celebrants, photographers. Like, are you finding that weddings are kind of condensing a little?
I'm
like a pinky touch?
I only do big weddings,
yeah,
or with you exclusively.
Yeah.
So I'm like one or the other. However, I find that I find that couples still want that big wedding. They want the structure, they want the feeling, they want everything. They want the white dress, they want the florals, they want the walk down the aisle. Like they want the structure. That's like where the value sits for them. However, they just want to do it in a mini size. And I think essentially that's where Pash and Dash comes in, and all your amazing teams, Amy, where they can have that. They can get the dream wedding with the whole layout.
Yeah, they can have the big and bougie, but just like mini. Yeah, mini bougie. Yeah.
It's done.
Yeah, are we done? Are we done?
Can we get up?
All right, ladies, thank you so much. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to get everyone to give our beautiful ladies a big round of applause. Because what we're going to do now, I'm going to now invite our last panel up to come and share a few of their ideas with us as well. So thank you, ladies. Alrighty, let's end. Hello. No. Also, can I invite Talitha from Be My Muse to come on up? And Tanya. Damavi. Woohoo! And then Jamie from Styled by Jamie. Come on up and take a seat.
We're just saying how beautiful we look right now. 'Cause look, we've all colour coordinated.
Yes. Alrighty, so to open this discussion up, what are the current trends shaping the wedding industry and how do you see them evolving over the next few years?
Okay, so as a florist and stylist, I am obviously speaking to brides 12, 18 months ahead. There are a few trends that obviously we're pushing at the moment that I feel aren't going to actually, so we're doing them at style shoots, we're seeing them overseas, but I feel aren't going to be seen at an actual wedding for a good 12 to 18 months. There are things, that's my phone.
Tanya, what are you doing?
I'm so sorry. That's my 8-year-old son, probably asking for
Xbox.
Yeah, or something. Okay, let me get back to it. So I am seeing a lot of things that we're doing, such as bows, such as beautiful draping, green and white. I do see red becoming a massive colour. Red is being done overseas a lot, and I see red on red on red being a very big trend. The good part is that we get to do the fun stuff in style shoots, and then people or our brides are doing them 12 to 18 months ahead. So I'm very excited because I've done some really cool photo shoots this year with fruit in amongst flowers, some French elements added in with very modern elements, and I really feel that in the next 12 to 18 months we're going to start seeing those in real weddings. Hope that answered that.
Yeah, no, perfect. And
in terms of celebrant work, I'm finding that we're actually reverting back to more the not traditional ceremony, but more so the elegant ceremony. So in the past, we've seen a lot of couples wanting it to be a really fun, and we can do fun while being elegant, but not the roast style where we're, really giving it to the groom.
Slight shift with the style that, I do agree with what couples are searching for.
Yeah, so they're really looking for that ceremony that's going to resonate with all of the guests that are there. So, they're not going to be embarrassed that Granny's hearing a story that, gets brought up. So it's just all about, appealing to everyone in the space.
Yeah, absolutely agree.
In the last year, I think that there's been a lot of that glam kind of makeup and hair and all that. But I think in the year coming, well, for me personally, as a stylist, a hair and makeup stylist, is I like that natural showing you. And with elopements, it's all about you and your husband-to-be. So why would you want to be anything different than that? So I love to, like that stripped back, glowy kind of look, little bit flush, kind of neutral on the eyes, maybe even a little bit of pink, but like gone are the days for me of like 3 or 4 colours on the eyes, overdoing it. Let's just be us.
Thank goodness.
And I think COVID helped with that. And I feel like I found myself as an artist through COVID, because I'm such an emotional and compassionate person. And I felt with these big weddings, everyone was being something else other than themselves for everybody else in the audience. I think that stripped back, natural, little bit of fluffy lashes on the outer edge, take the strip lashes away because they're so uncomfortable. And just be you, okay? And celebrate that. Yeah. I think that's the next year to come, or hopefully for me.
I feel like this has kind of been already talked about a lot, but trends are a huge thing. The editorial thing is really, it's just everything. And it was like, I've been in this industry for 19 years. I've seen a lot of trends come and go, but they have just, oh man, they're going so fast I can't even keep up now. Yeah. It's crazy. It's like, what's next? But now it's basically forward flash, which I think Ed was speaking about. That's huge, which I actually love. It's so fun. And a lot of posing. It was documentary. Everybody wanted that. So like a story. Now it's like posing a lot. But I think people at the core of it still want an authentic, they want an authentic experience, and it's important not to lose sight of that. Like, it's a wedding day. Yeah. I love the editorial thing. It's so fun to photograph. Yeah. But don't lose sight of it's a wedding. It's meant to be authentic. It's a celebration of people who are getting married. So sorry, I'm not natural at this. I shouldn't be here, guys. This is not me. Anyway, I'm done now. Thank you.
Alrighty, so how do you differentiate your services in an already crowded market? What makes you stand out, or how do you feel what makes you stand out from everybody else?
Okay, I have the microphone, so I'll go first. So I've been in the industry for, I think, 14 years, and I was a planner, and then I was a stylist, and now I'm a florist. I think the entire time I have found myself sort of going, oh, this person's doing this, I need to do this. But in the last maybe 5 years, maybe since COVID hit, I've decided I'm me. Yep. The reason why people book me is because of me, is because of what I produce. So I just stay authentic to myself. I think that if you try to be someone else, if you try to emulate what someone else is doing, if you're not true to yourself, then it doesn't come across as authentic. One of the biggest things that my clients say to me is your passion comes through, the love comes through in your flowers, the love comes through in your product, the love comes through. So I just focus on being me. I focus on every client I probably become, and this is why I don't plan anymore, is because I've become emotionally invested. I become attached to these people, and every wedding that I do, they get all of me. They get, I'm worried about their flowers. I want their flowers to be absolutely perfect. Lots of people say that I'm way too critical on my work, but that's how I produce the best of me in a product. So I think just being authentic to yourself, not trying to be someone else in the industry, not trying to copy what they're doing, finding why you're passionate, why you're there, why you're doing it, what you're good at, do that, and then your clients are going to follow.
Absolutely agree. Yeah, I absolutely second that. I've struggled for a long time. I'm a mum of 2 kids, and I've tried to juggle life and my business. And within the last year, again, I've looked at myself. I'm like, how am I different? I'm no different to anybody else, but I am different. I actually love your wedding. I am there emotionally. I think about you the weeks leading up. I think about you the years that go by on your like wedding anniversary. The other day I had this beautiful bride, and she was just so stunning, so cruisy. An elopement, of course, it's very cruisy. But I walked away and I had goosebumps walking to the car, because I was like, I am part of her memory. And, you know, leading up to before she says her vows, I am the person she is looking at, I'm the person she's finding confidence within. So that's how I differentiate myself, is that personalisation and that full, I commit to you and I will give you my whole being, and I literally stay there until the end. I don't care. Like, I'm not there for the money. I'm there because I love it. I walk away and I am so fulfilled. And yeah, that's why I love elopements. Like the 4 or 5 people, it's just like one after the other. I'm not getting that communication from people, and I need that to thrive in life. So I'm getting that out of my brides. And yeah, that's what sets me apart.
It's building that connection too, isn't it? And building that relationship. I'm a firm believer in connections. So yeah, wholeheartedly understand what you're saying.
No, I totally agree with you, because I remember, like, at our wedding, it was just last year, and I sat there and I was basically having an out-of-body experience. I was like, I cannot. And literally my makeup artist was the one who was like, you are fucking fine. I'm sorry.
Got this.
But she was basically like, you're okay. And she was the person that I literally focused on for that time. So yeah, you make like such a huge difference to...
And they remember that.
Yeah, you do. You remember that experience so much. I think, like, going off what you said, I think that what sets any business apart is the love for it. So somebody who actually, they're not in it for the money, because you could do a lot of things for money that would make you a lot more money than hustling in the wedding industry. But if you want to do this and do it for a long time, it's that love, and that is also what I feel sets us apart, is our love for it. Over all these years, it's the love for each and every... I feel I could say exactly what you said, basically. It's that you care for each person that you photograph and film, and you think about them before it and you think about them after, and all you care about is that their experience is beautiful and that they love what you've produced for them, and that you have painted the picture of their wedding day exactly as they had imagined. So I guess that's what, yeah.
I think absolutely. I think for me it is about being genuinely me, having that love, having that passion. The other thing that I believe sets me apart is that I really work very consciously to be extremely present in the moment. I think there's a lot of things that go on during a wedding ceremony, and there's so many moving parts, and it's really important just to stop down. And before I marry any couple, I said, are you ready to do this? Let's do this. This is going to be fun. Take it all in. And it's just about those relationships, and having that relationship so you can do that. They can fully trust you in the moment. And then having the relationship with not just your couples, but also everybody there. So, the photographer, the venue, the relationships is really important.
Yes. Honey Jane, and how great her dress looks today. And just building that rapport with the whole family and friends, everyone present in that moment.
Yeah, which comes down to passion too. So
absolutely.
It all ties in.
All right, we have one final question. Do you believe the demand for smaller, more intimate weddings has changed this industry?
Yes. Yes. When I was starting out in this industry, I came from corporate events, and it was drilled into me money, budget. So when I came into the industry, the cost of a wedding really blew me away, and I attempted to do micro weddings. This was 13 years ago, something like that. It just wasn't accepted. Nobody could understand it. Nobody understood what we were trying. So I quickly got dragged back into the traditional wedding structure. I saw many businesses try to do micro weddings, small elopements. It didn't work until COVID hit. COVID really made it a norm it was the only way you could get married during COVID, and everyone was forced into understanding the structure of a small elopement wedding, and I think that has now secured it as a permanent option for people within the industry. I don't see it as leaving anytime soon. I think that it will sit alongside a traditional wedding, and I think that that's going to happen for a really long time. I think it'll become more and more normal.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think COVID taught us about family and who's important. We were only seeing those who were important to us for, what was it, 3 years or something stupid? And that's what weddings are about. It's, celebrating that love and connection with your family and your friends that you are closest to, that you've talked to in the last 6 months. So I truly believe that it set a standard of, hang on, when you're doing your tick and flick of who's going to come to your wedding, have I seen them in the last 6 months? Do I know their children? Do I know their grandparents, and all those deep and meaningful things? And I think COVID is something I always look back to and would we ever do it again? Probably no, in the sense of how extreme it was. But yes, we have kept that consistency with how deep and meaningful our connections are with people, and just keeping it close. So yeah, I definitely do think it's changed it for the best. I really do.
Agreed. I feel like people suddenly got permission to actually have that small wedding that they always wanted. Yeah. The amount of times over the years before COVID, basically, which is, I don't like talking about it, but people would be like, oh, I just really wanted to elope, but I felt like I couldn't. And then suddenly they had the permission. So I think that it's a beautiful thing to pare it down. If you aren't a person who has a massive crew, it's awesome to have a massive crew. That's cool. But if you just prefer to have your immediate family, everyone has the permission. I wish that people didn't think that they needed permission. In the end, everybody who loves you just accepts who you are in the end. They really do. But people have suddenly been given that, and it's so nice. You can still have all the luxuries and stay somewhere absolutely beautiful, and it's just
spend the money on the honeymoon.
If you want to. I mean, I had 140 people at our wedding, and it was freaking great, but it took my husband to make that happen, not me. I would have had an elopement. Elopements are the best.
Yeah. I had one.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely giving people permission, and I tend to find it draws people who are shy and don't often love the big limelight, and it allows them to, again, be present and, again, enjoy the moment without the pressure of all eyes being on them. And, yeah, it's become more heartfelt, the ceremonies that we do with elopements, because it is just all about them. And, of course, that requires a lot more energy from those people that are part of elopements, because you are creating the experience. It's not about everyone else there. So, yeah, it's very special. I love the elopement space because of that reason.
Oh, absolutely. And I hands down agree with you there. Yeah. Okay, so we do have a couple more minutes before we close off this panel discussion. So does anyone here want to kind of elaborate more on any of that? No?
Everyone's thirsty. Maybe throw a question to you guys. We were talking about the financial costs of a wedding and how elopements are becoming the norm a lot of the time because of finance. How do we change that value that people have in their mind for a wedding? I don't know about you, but I talk to a lot of people that are general public, not in the industry. They don't understand why celebrants cost so much. They don't understand. I think they have this thing in their mind that photographers are really expensive because they have a lot of equipment. But everyone else, it doesn't cost them much. I don't know why they cost so much. So I wonder how we change that. Is it through social media, or how do we change that narrative that we don't do anything or we're not worth that?
I think it's down to education. So I know that when I was wedding planning, and even as a florist, I get talking to couples about probably more than their flowers and their styling. Cakes are one of the big things that I used to find people go, well, why are they so expensive? I think it's education. You know, it's telling people, do you understand how long they spend on that? And someone goes, yeah, but a birthday cake isn't as much. Yeah, but a birthday cake isn't as much pressure. It's not as detailed. It's about education. And I think it's up to us in the industry to educate people, not only in the area that you're in, but to back, you know, like if you're a celebrant and someone says, oh, I got this florist quote and it's, you know, this much money. I get that, but do you understand what goes into it? You know, like my biggest thing is educating people. They send me a Pinterest board with this massive, you know, 5 metre by 5 metre installation in a ceiling that's covered in flowers. My biggest thing is, think about the last time that you sent someone a bunch of flowers. You spent $100. It has 5 flowers and a little bit of foliage. Now times that by how many you would need of those bunches to do up in the ceiling. Now you understand. And people instantly go, oh, yeah, okay, I didn't realise that. But things like celebrants, I say to people as well, you know, they're involved with you for a long time. They just don't fill out a bit of paperwork and then turn up to your wedding. They're getting to know you. They're invested in you. You know, and you're not only paying for them to turn up on the day, you're paying for their business to be sustainable so that when you book them 18 months out, they will turn up on your wedding day. You know, you're paying for their experience.
It's more about like, well, people. It's an art. Everything that we do is an art, and we have trained in our industry in whatever we do. And like I was saying before, we're not in it for the money, because if you're in it for the money, you're not going to sustain. You're not going to last. So you're paying for that quality and the care and the love that each of these suppliers give you. And yes, it was a good question that you asked. I loved it. It was a really good one.
I think it comes down to having the conversation. Like with me, I'm such a, like I talk and talk and talk. And with my brides, they get to know me, I get to know them. They'll know that I paid $12,000 for a makeup course that lasted 4 months. They'll know that I went through 4 to 5 years of hairdressing apprenticeship, getting $8 an hour, plus having to pay my own HEX debt on that $8 an hour to then get my tools and my textbooks. And I'm still paying that off. And I have my 2 kids and my husband at home, and I've cleaned both my kids for an hour each to make sure they're sanitized and all that kind of thing. So again, it's about being yourself and opening up.
Cleaned your kids?
Oh,
that's weird.
Sometimes I do. They're old enough to clean themselves. My kids.
Anyway, sorry.
KITS. But yeah, that all takes time. Plus, I'm traveling to.
Everyone goes. Like, what has that got to do with it?
Can we cut that?
Cut it.
Let's cut that one. I'm just going to pass you on. Pass it on.
I'm all good. Alrighty, thank you so much, ladies. That has been absolutely wonderful. Let's give them a huge, big round of applause.
Thanks for tuning in to the WedCo Podcast. We're dropping a fresh episode every week featuring industry professionals dishing out the wedding wisdom you need to turn those dreams into reality. Make sure you are following us on social media, you have those notifications turned on so we can help plan your wedding day. Your dream wedding day just got a whole lot easier. Thanks for listening.